Hello guys, welcome back to our anime explainer. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of upcoming episode of Battle Through the Heavens based on novel. So let's start. Xiao Yan, you old bastard. Today, I will tear you into tens of thousands of pieces and throw you into the 10,000 snake cave. Yao Ming's eyes turned blood red as he glared at the black-clothed person in the sky. An endless viciousness shot of his eyes as his roar reverberated through this deep abyss. My good big brother. It is unexpected that you have survived. However, the current you cannot even block one strike from me. You can rest assured that I will not give you a chance to struggle this time around. The man in the sky laughed in a wicked manner after hearing Yao Ming's vicious roar. Xiao Yan was expressionless after hearing the conversation between the two brothers. That Xiao Yan should be an intermediate level 1-star Doshing. He was a little stronger than Xiao Yan. There was no need to doubt the strength of this Xiao Yan, since he was able to become the tribal chief of the 9 serene deep-ground python tribe. Rat, regardless of how you managed to sneak into my underground serene snake network, this underground world is the territory of my 9 serene deep-ground python. You have nearly ruined my plans. Hence, this king will throw you and that cripple into the 10,000 snake cave. Xiao Yan's eyes were extremely ruthless as he stared at Xiao Yan. If he had not left a spiritual imprint within the seal, Xiao Yan would have successfully rescued Yao Ming in secret. Once Yao Ming recovered his strength, he would definitely snatch the position of the tribal chief. At that time, there would be another round of trouble. You should try to recover your Do Qi as soon as possible. Leave this fellow to me. Xiao Yan did not react much as he looked at Xiaotian's sinister eyes. He waved his sleeve and a gentle force delivered Yao Ming to the side of the lake while he spoke in a faint voice. Be careful. This fellow currently possesses the strength of an intermediate level 1-star Doshing. Moreover, he has also practiced many of the ultimate skills of my 9 serene deep-ground python tribe. It is not easy to deal with him. Yao Ming warned. Currently, the most important thing that he needed to do was to quickly recover his Do Qi. Xiaotian was afraid of Yao Ming, so he would not turn this into a big matter. However, he had definitely accumulated his own supporters after all these years. Even though other elders might not dare to intervene, because of Yao Ming's identity, Xiaotian's cronies would without a doubt obey his orders. Xiao Yang nodded. He took out 2 jade bottles and tossed them to Yao Ming and Cai Lin. He stepped on the surface of the lake and a circular ripple was formed. His body appeared a short distance in front of Xiaotian. After which, he looked at Xiaotian and said, "This is the first time that I have fought against an elite Doshing of the same level after having advanced to the Doshing class. Relax, this 9 serene spring can be considered a good place. Consider yourself fortunate to die here." Xiaotian laughed in a strange manner. It is likely that you are quite talented to reach the Doshing class at such a young age. However, you should never have gotten involved with this cripple. Since you have done so, no one will be able to rescue you today. Xiao Yang smiled in a non-committal manner. This king does not wish to know your name. Today, you can peacefully die here. The smile on Xiaotian's face slowly disappeared. His eyes were vile as they stared at Xiao Yang like poisonous snakes. His body shook abruptly as a monstrous wicked aura suddenly surged out of his body. The entire cave trembled. An energy lightning formed a 10,000-foot large palm in the air above him from all directions. An extremely dark and cold force was contained within this large palm. Die. That large hand suddenly fell after this word sounded. A frightening force shook the space around Xiao Yang until it crumbled. You have really overestimated yourself. Xiao Yang lifted his head. He looked at the palm, which was rapidly being magnified in his eyes, and smiled. He swung his sleeve and a hot flame surged into all directions, turning the space around him into a sea of fire in an instant. This flame lingered around the large hand, and its frightening temperature swiftly caused the hand to emit a dense, white fog. Heavenly flame. Yao Xiaotian slightly knit his brows after seeing the sea of flames vaporize his energy palm. He let out a cold snort and both of his hands formed many complicated hand seals with lightning-like speed. The energy above the lake once again gathered after those hand seals had formed. Yellow spring finger. The energy gathered in a mighty manner. It swiftly gathered into a deep yellow finger that was a couple 1,000 feet long. The finger was under Yap Xiaotian's control. The surface of this finger was extremely rough, but it was filled with a faint destructive force. It looked just like a sky-supporting pillar that stood between the sky and the land if one saw it from a distance. A yellow spring finger deciding life and death. Yao Xiaotian coldly laughed as he looked at Xiao Yan below. He suddenly pressed his finger down. That enormous yellow spring finger in the sky rumbled and rushed down as well. The entire ceiling crumbled as the surrounding walls of the deep abyss were blasted apart, forming an enormous crack. This attack shook the land and mountains, appearing as though an earthquake had occurred. Qian class Do skill, her. Surprise flashed across Xiao Yang's eyes as he felt the pressure from this yellow spring finger. The Qian class Do skill unleashed by an elite Do Xing could easily destroy an entire city. How arrogant. You do not have that ability. Xiao Yang's foot stepped forward as a vast and mighty Do Qi swiftly gathered on his right hand. A black light erupted almost instantly. Within a couple of blinks, it had turned into a couple 1,000-foot large black light sphere. This was the first time Xiao Yang had used the Great Heaven Creation Palm, after advancing to the Do Xing class. Its might and aura had undoubtedly soared 100 times from before. Buzz buzz. The black light sphere formed and unleashed a frightening suction force. The surrounding abyss cracked apart. Large rocks continued to fall before they were absorbed by the light sphere and disappeared. Great Heaven Creation Palm, destroy it. Xiao Yang lifted his head. He flicked his finger and the enormous black light sphere rushed up. It swiftly appeared where the yellow spring finger was located before it suddenly began to wildly rotate. Crack crack. The yellow finger pressed against the black-colored light sphere. A frightening energy swept across the abyss like a storm. Rumble. Black light wildly rotated as wave after wave of destructive forces spread apart. That yellow spring finger was dragged into the black light 10 feet at a time. Finally, yellow spring finger was swallowed by the black light sphere in front of Yao Xiaotian's shocked and furious eyes. Rat, I have underestimated you. A grave expression flashed across Yao Xiaotian's eyes after seeing the yellow spring finger break. His body swayed and a cold Do Qi surged out of his body in all directions. His body also began to suddenly swell at this moment. In the blink of an eye, he had transformed into a 10,000-foot-long black snake. A monstrous ferocity radiated from the snake's body. He appeared just like an evil god that had descended. Sealing skill, Yellow Spring Great Seal. Yao Xiaotian furiously roared at the ceiling after transforming into his actual snake form. A frightening dark and cold force suddenly erupted from the 9 serene spring below as he roared. Under Yao Qianxiao's control, this dark and cold force along with his own monstrous Do Qi formed a black mountain-like seal. That seal was covered with numerous mysterious symbols. Xiao Yang, be careful. That is one of the key Do skills of the 9 serene deep-ground Python tribe. It is a Qian class middle-level Do skill. If you are suppressed by it, you will be sealed within the 9 serene spring. Back then, I was struck by this skill and ended up suffering for hundreds of years. Yao Ming's warning sounded beside Xiao Yang's ear after this giant seal appeared. Rat, go and die. Yao Xiaotian loudly laughed after seeing this giant seal form. He swung his huge tail and the black giant seal suddenly turned. It shot toward Xiao Yang, and a strength that was indescribably dark and cold caused the surrounding space to become vicious. Suppress. The black giant seal trembled as this cry sounded. The seal penetrated space and arrived above Xiao Yang's head in a flash. Finally, it abruptly fell and ruthlessly smashed into the 9 serene spring. Bang bang. The black giant seal landed on the surface of the lake and many large water pillars shot out as a frightening circular ripple spread. Any object within this deep abyss was flattened in an instant. Ha ha! The giant snake that Xiao Yan had transformed into suddenly laughed after seeing this destruction. With the help of the dark and cold force within the 9 serene spring, his seal would immediately restrict the Do Chi within the target's body even if the other party was also an intermediate level 1-star Do Sheng. Even less needed to be said for Xiao Yan, who was a little weaker than him. This is bad. Yao Ming, who was recovering his Do Chi, felt his heart sink after seeing the seal form. Bang! However, Yao Xiaotian's laughter had just appeared when the giant black seal pressing against the 9 serene spring violently trembled. A loud sound appeared a moment later. That giant seal was shaken until it flew backwards. What? Yao Xiaotian was immediately shocked upon seeing the seal get knocked back. You are not qualified to suppress me. Bam! The 9 serene spring was suddenly blasted apart after this thunder-like laugh was emitted. A bright golden light erupted like a sun. In a flash, it appeared above Yao Xiaotian's head. The large golden hand contained a 4-colored fire lotus rotating above it. After which, the hand furiously slammed down and mercilessly struck the head of that enormous snake. Boom! The fire lotus exploded upon contact. That destructive force was slammed into Yao Xiaotian's body by the frightening strength of the golden hand. Yao Xiaotian's huge body appeared as though it had swallowed a countless number of thunderbolts, as a rumbling sound continuously appeared. Blood that contained some heat exploded out of his body. Bang! Then Yao Xiaotian's body flew back, and finally crashed into a mountain wall. He shattered it into dust. A golden light flickered as giant golden figure descended and ruthlessly stepped on Yao Xiaotian's enormous snake body. It swung its giant fist and ruthlessly smashed it down. The heavenly flame's strength surrounding the fist caused Yao Xiaotian to emit a miserable cry. Bastard, you dare to behave atrociously in this my 9 serene deep ground python's territory. Serene snake guards, capture this person. A furious roar suddenly sounded in the sky, while Xiao Yan was preparing to smash this fellow to death. A countless number of sounds of rushing wind were emitted from the entire mountain range. Wave after wave of powerful auras erupted. Clearly, the battle between Xiao Yan and Yao Xiaotian had attracted the attention of the entire 9 serene deep ground python tribe. Xiao Yan slowly withdrew his fist after hearing the furious roar that resounded from above, but both of his feet continued to ruthlessly step on Yao Xiaotian's body. Heavenly flame spread over his feet, as they were coincidentally pressed on a spot around 7 inches from the middle of the snake's body. This was the fatal spot of the snake clan. If it was struck, even an elite Do Sheng would end up suffering. Xiao Yang lifted his head. He looked at the sky, only to find that the sky was currently filled with many experts from the 9 serene deep ground python tribe. These people were glaring at him with furious eyes. Regardless of how one put it, the 9 serene deep ground python tribe was one of the 3 largest tribes in the magical beast world. At this moment, this person had not only snuck into their territory, he had even beaten up their chief. No one would be able to endure this humiliation. Rat, who are you? You actually dare to act wildly within the territory of my 9 serene deep ground python tribe. An old man, with a completely bright red poisonous snake on his shoulder stood in the sky. His eyes were ruthlessly staring at Xiao Yang as he cried out. He glanced at the giant black snake under the golden giant, Xiao Yang, after letting out a cold cry. His heart shook slightly. It was unexpected that Yao Xiaotian would be suppressed to such an extent by this unknown person despite his strength. We must restrain him today, regardless of who he is. Otherwise, how will our 9 serene deep ground python tribe survive in the magical beast world if this matter spreads? A gray-haired old man beside the elder furiously cried out. Serene snake guards, listen up. Capture this person. The gray-haired old man angrily ordered them to act. Understood. An orderly response was emitted after the old man's furious cry was heard. The sound of wind splitting could be heard. Numerous figures with snake-shape armor rushed out of the various mountains. They appeared around Xiao Yang within a couple of flashes. The many auras all locked onto him. The foundation of this 9 serene deep-ground python is indeed quite strong. These serene snake guards all possess an extremely powerful aura. Moreover, their movement seems to suggest a perfect cooperation. Xiao Yan's eyes swept over the 100 serene snake guards, and a surprise flashed across his heart. This elite army was something that the Sky Mansion Alliance did not possess. Bang! A force suddenly erupted from Yao Xiaotian's body under Xiao Yang's feet, while Xiao Yang's heart was feeling surprised. Yao Xiaotian forcefully escaped Xiao Yang's restraints and hurried to the sky in a somewhat miserable manner. Both of his eyes were blood red as he looked at Xiao Yang and roared, "All elders, listen up, create the 10,000 snake grand formation. Kill this fellow." The many elders in the sky were slightly startled after hearing Yao Xiaotian's roar, but they quickly voiced their acknowledgement in respectful tones. The sound of rushing wind appeared. These elders with great strength spread apart in the sky. They formed a mysterious formation that trapped Xiao Yang inside. Xiao Yang frowned slightly after seeing these elders intervene. Even a hero would not be able to fight against so many alone. This was the headquarters of the 9 serene deep-ground python tribe. It would be a little difficult for him to block these continuous attacks. After all, that Yao Xiaotian and the elder with a bright red snake on his shoulder were all genuine Doshings. The leaders from the various tribes, please head back. Allow me to resolve this matter personally. Yao Xiaotian's eyes flickered after trapping Xiao Yang. He suddenly turned his head and spoke in a deep voice to the leaders of the various tribes a short distance away. The leaders from the various tribes hesitated for a moment after hearing these words, but they slowly nodded, not daring to disobey the orders of the tribal chief. He, Yao Xiaotian, are you planning to get rid of me without anyone knowing after chasing these leaders of the various tribes away? However, a cold laugh suddenly sounded after Yao Xiaotian cried out. A figure rushed out and appeared in the air. The figure that had appeared was naturally Yao Ming, who had been rescued from the 9 serene spring by Xiao Yang. However, his body was no longer shriveled. Instead, it had become much larger. His face was a little dark as a sinister aura spread while his eyes flickered. The many members of the 9 serene deep-ground python tribe were stunned after seeing Yao Ming's face, which was a little similar to Yao Xiaotian's face. Some of the elders finally cried out in disbelief a moment later. Tribal Chief Yao Ming. How is it possible? Didn't you die after your training went wrong? Tribal Chief Yao Ming. It seems like he is Tribal Chief Xiaotian's brother, the previous Tribal Chief, but Tribal Chief Xiaotian had said that he had died after something went wrong with his training. He has already been missing for hundreds of years. How can he appear again? Yao Xiaotian's face twitched after hearing the many conversations that popped up all over. His eyes shifted to that elder with a bright red snake on his shoulder. Suddenly, he cried out in a cold voice, "Be quiet. Do not be deceived by this person. This person is definitely that other fellow's accomplice. He has purposefully disguised himself as my big brother in order to cause unrest in our tribe. All elders, why aren't you activating the formation? Kill him." Those elders were startled after hearing Yao Xiaotian's command, but they were a little hesitant to attack. Ha ha, Yao Xiaotian, are you so anxious to silence me? Yao Ming laughed at the sky. After which, his eyes swept over a couple of elders, Elder Xian, Elder Ming, Elder Liu, the 3 of you were closest to me back then. Don't tell me that even you cannot recognize me. Those 3 white-haired elders swept their eyes over Yao Ming after hearing his laugh. Some excitement rose on their faces as they said, he really seems to be Tribal Chief Yao Ming. The 3 of us are quite familiar with his aura. Ming Kang, the 3 of you should not cause confusion within the tribe. Currently, the tribal chief of the 9 serene deep-ground python tribe is Yao Xiaotian. Are you attempting to betray the tribe? The elder with a bright red snake on his shoulder glared at the 3 of them with sinister eyes as he coldly questioned them. First elder, this is really Tribal Chief Yao Ming. Is there some misunderstanding here? The 3 elders hurriedly replied. There is no misunderstanding. Back then, the reason I disappeared was precisely because of this good brother of mine and the first elder. They had joined hands to poison and injure me. They even sealed me at the bottom of the Nine Serene Spring. If I had not been rescued this time around, I would have spent my entire life sealed under the Nine Serene Spring. They found out that I escaped today, and naturally need to quickly silence me. Yao Ming faintly laughed. What? Yao Ming's words were undoubtedly like thunder, as they exploded in everyone's ears. All pairs of eyes gathered on Yao Xiaotian and the first elder. First elder, is what tribal chief Yao Ming said true? Some of the elders immediately cried out. This person is a fake. Can you trust his words? The grey-robed first elder replied in a sinister voice. He quickly waved his sleeve and continued in a dense voice, in that case, this elderless elf shall personally capture him. I will get him to speak the truth and hold him accountable to everyone. The first elder's body suddenly disappeared after his words rang out. He was already in front of Yao Ming when he appeared. His shriveled hands had become incomparably black, as an intense stench spread from them. Withered leaf great poison palm. First elder, you are really quick in your attempt to silence him. Wind had just risen from the first elder's palm, when a loud laugh sounded from below and a golden light surged. The enormous golden human figure appeared in between Yao Ming and the first elder. The golden light surged and violently collided with the first elder. Clang! An energy hurricane swept out as the two collided. The energy shook the large mountains below until they began to crack apart. The first elder took 2 steps back after this collision. His eyes were gloomy as he glared at the golden human figure in front of Yao Ming. A ferocious expression appeared on his face. Brat, you are seeking death. Humph, first elder, you seem to be even more anxious. Yao Ming took a step forward. His eyes were dark and cold as he glared at the first elder. He suddenly widened his mouth. A black light shot out and turned into a 5-foot-long scepter. This scepter was completely black, with 2 lifelike poisonous snakes twisting at the top. A fist-sized black bead was present between the 2 snakes. It emitted a faint cold glow. All elders, do you still recognize this thing? The 9 Serene Profound Scepter. It is actually the 9 Serene Profound Scepter that has been lost for hundreds of years. It is the keepsake of the tribal chief. The expressions of all the elders in the sky drastically changed after seeing that black scepter appear. A wild heat surged within their eyes. They could feel a pressure from within their blood that originated from the scepter. It was rumored that the snake bead on the 9 Serene Profound Scepter possessed an extremely pure 9 Serene King tribe bloodline. If the current 9 Serene Deep Ground Serpent tribe could obtain this bloodline, it would undoubtedly allow them to greatly extend the rate at which their blood was thinning. No wonder I was unable to find the 9 Serene Profound Scepter no matter where I searched. It had been swallowed into your stomach. Yao Xiaotian's expression was extremely gloomy as he looked at Yao Ming. His fists were tightly clenched. All elders, we must not only hear one side of the story. Everyone is aware of how the 9 Serene Deep Ground Python tribe is under the leadership of tribal chief Xiao Yan. Even though Yao Ming is the previous tribal chief, he was appointed in the past. If he is willing to hand over the 9 Serene Profound Scepter, he will have a place in this 9 Serene Deep Ground Python tribe in the future. The first elder rulously glared at Xiao Yan as he opened his mouth and cried out. That's right, tribal chief Yao Ming, you should hand over the 9 Serene Profound Scepter to tribal chief Xiao Tian. Some of the elders also opened their mouths and spoke at this moment. They were Yao Xiaotian's cronies. Naturally, they understood who they should help at this moment. Yao Ming coldly smiled upon hearing these elders' words. First elder is wrong. Whoever possesses the 9 Serene Profound Scepter is the tribal chief of our 9 Serene Deep Ground Python tribe. This has been the rule of our tribe across every generations. When we allowed Yao Xiaotian to be the tribal chief back then, we agreed that it was only temporarily. Moreover, all of you also agreed that you would return the position of the tribal chief to tribal chief Yao Ming if he returns. Those 3 elders, who had been named by Yao Ming earlier, faced each other before speaking at the same time. None of them were ordinary people. They could guess the truth of the matter. The three elders are right. There were clearly many people supporting Yao Ming among these elders. Hence, some voices of agreement appeared. Bastard, go and die. Yao Xiaotian's and the first elder's expression turned slightly cold after hearing these words. They exchanged glances and the two of them rushed out at the same time. They appeared in front of Xiao Yan in a flash. A frightening wind swept apart as they ruthlessly attacked Xiao Yan. It seemed that they wished to use a blitzkrieg tactic to finish off Xiao Yan and Yao Ming. Only then would they be able to stabilize the situation. The two Doshings attacked at the same time. That momentum could be called earth-shaking. A solemn feeling flashed across Xiao Yang's heart when he saw Yao Xiaotian and the first elder attack at the same time. One of these people was an intermediate one-star Doshing, while the other was an advanced one-star Doshing. They were terrifyingly strong after joining hands. Xiao Yang would end up finding himself facing a life-threatening danger if he underestimated their strengths. You two are really anxious. It is likely that everyone present knows just what the both of you are planning to do. Xiao Yang's body shook. He unleashed the King Kong glass body to its limit. His originally large body once again swelled until it reached a 99-foot peak. A bright golden light lingered over the surface of his body before gradually turning into a dark golden color. His golden skin shook as a faint thunderous roar shot out of his pores. Clan tattoo appear. Xiao Yang was dissatisfied despite having unleashed the King Kong glass body to its peak. His hands formed a seal and a mysterious clan tattoo swiftly appeared on his forehead. The moment the clan tattoo formed, Xiao Yang's aura wildly soared in front of the astounded eyes of Yao Xiaotian and the first elder. In the blink of an eye, he had become an advanced one-star Doshing. His aura was even a little stronger than that first elder. What kind of secret technique has this fellow used? He is actually able to strengthen himself by 2 levels. Even some ordinary Qian class secret techniques are unable to do this. The hearts of those two were like a stormy sea. There was an enormous gap between each level within the Doshing class, yet Xiao Yang was able to instantly leap from the initial level to the advanced level. Such a powerful secret technique was extremely rare. Ha ha, allow me to test just how powerful 2 Doshing are when combined. Xiao Yang laughed at the sky after sensing this vast and mighty strength that could control the world. His laughter was like thunder that reverberated across the sky. The blood within some of the weaker individuals churned after hearing this laughter. They quickly stepped back. Their blood was already churning despite the fact that Xiao Yang did not want to attack them. If Xiao Yang felt a murderous desire, just his laughter alone would be able to shatter the meridians of any Do Zone class expert. This might was truly something that only belonged to elite Doshings. Just a laugh alone could shatter one's soul. Arrogant. The first elder furiously laughed. His hand turned completely black as a rich stench pounced over. Just a touch from the lethal poison on his hands would cause even an elite Banshing to suffer. Rumble. Xiao Yang did not withdraw. He faced the combined attacks of the first elder and Yao Xiaotian. Both of his hands were waved and a frightening wind was formed like a storm. His fists collided violently with the 2 individuals, 2 fists against 4 palms. Space itself collapsed each time they made contact. A frightening ripple shook the mountains within a 50-kilometer radius until they collapsed. Many 10,000-foot-wide pits also appeared on the ground. The destructive force from a fight between elite Doshings was mind-numbing. The elders and members from the 9 serene deep-ground Python tribe hurriedly pulled back after seeing the terrifying battle in the sky. Should we intervene? From the looks of it, that golden light person seems to be extremely powerful. Even the first elder and tribal chief Xiao Tian, combined, cannot gain an advantage against him. Do not be anxious. That person seems to be helping tribal chief Yao Ming. During these years, Yao Xiaotian has basically turned the tribe into a dictatorship. He is far too forceful and cannot compare with tribal chief Yao Ming. It might be good for us if tribal chief Yao Ming returns to being the tribal chief. However, tribal chief Yao Xiaotian has groomed many close aides during these years. Look at those fellows. They are already planning on secretly attacking tribal chief Yao Ming. Humph, stop them. A group of extremely old elders gathered together and engaged in a private conversation. A moment later, many pairs of eyes were suddenly thrown toward a group that appeared slightly younger. Immediately, Do Chi surged out of their bodies. They whizzed forward in a flash and blocked that group that was ready to create trouble. Elder Ming, what are you planning to do? The tribal chief is in trouble. It is fine if you do not go and rescue him, yet you dare to stop us. What is your motive? Humph, a group of individuals from the younger generation actually dares to scream in front of this elderless elf. Capture them. Yellow Spring Finger. Quiet Ghost Poison Claw. A huge energy finger once again descended from the sky. It was accompanied by an extremely dark and cold energy as it ruthlessly pressed towards Xiao Yan. At the same time, that first elder also swiftly approached. His hand claw had formed a black viscous liquid. Even the air itself had been corroded into nothing as the liquid fell. Great Heaven Creation Palm. God Seal Skill, 5 seals combined. Xiao Yang's expression was unusually grave as these two wild attacks approached. His right hand was curled as an enormous black light sphere was formed above it. His left hand also formed numerous seals with lightning-like speed before 5 energy palms were swiftly formed. They merged together and turned into a crystallized palm. God Seal Skill, 5 seals combined, was the first time Xiao Yang had merged all 5 seals together. Its strength was not weaker than the Great Heaven Creation Palm. Bang bang. Xiao Yang's right hand created the Great Heaven Creation Palm, while his left hand created the 5 seals combined. The both of them were unleashed together and collided with the enormous energy finger and the first elder's ghost claw. The entire area was silent as the collision occurred. An energy storm was suddenly formed all from the collision. The space within a 10,000-foot radius completely collapsed at this moment. All the mountain peaks were shattered into dust. Bam bam. Xiao Yang, the golden light figure, staggered back in the sky while Yao Xiaotian and the first elder were both pushed back. The blood within their bodies churned as they looked at Xiao Yang with some shock in their eyes. They were really unable to believe that Xiao Yang was able to fight equally in a head-on collision with the two of them using just his initial 1-star Do Xing strength. Damn it, just where did Yao Ming find such a helper? He is ridiculously powerful. Yao Xiaotian's expression was extremely gloomy. His heart felt a vague unease. Xiao Yang's powerful strength had finally caused him to feel that the situation had become a little troublesome. The matter today would likely not be resolved as easily as he had imagined. Elder Ming, you bastards dare to attack the members of the tribe. Yao Xiaotian shifted his eyes. Suddenly he saw Elder Ming's group, which had stopped all of his close aides. He immediately became extremely furious. Tribal Chief Xiaotian, this matter has not been fully investigated. Naturally, we cannot allow others to capture Tribal Chief Yao Ming. Elder Ming cried out. Bastard! Yao Xiaotain was so furious that his body began to tremble. He had not expected these old fellows to turn against him. Not only did they not lend him a hand, they had also become a hindrance. First elder, what should we do now? Yao Xiaotian returned his eyes to the first elder, as he asked in a dark voice. Back then, I had told you to get rid of all those old fellows, yet you insisted on keeping them. Now, you have allowed an enemy to grow. The first elder chided Yao Xiaotian. He also realized that saying this would not help the situation. He clenched his teeth and said, I will block this brat. You should find an opportunity to attack Yao Ming. These old fellows will not dare to do anything as long as we kill him. Yao Xiaotian had just nodded after hearing this when a dangerous laugh suddenly echoed. There is no need to find an opportunity. You can do it now. Yao Ming's clothes fluttered as he stood behind Xiao Yang. His eyes were like sharp blades as they shot at Yao Xiaotian and the first elder. He ceased hiding at this moment. He lifted his foot and slowly walked forward. As he stepped forward, an aura that was even more powerful and frightening than anyone present surged out. 2-star Do Xing. Yao Xiaotian and the first elder's expression immediately turned pale after sensing the strength of this aura. Neither of them had expected Yao Ming to stronger, instead of deteriorating since he had been suppressed for so many years. He had actually soared from the Ban Xing class back then to a 2-star Do Xing. He is indeed worthy of being tribal chief Yao Ming. This talent is many times greater than Yao Xiaotian. Elder Ming's group also revealed a wild joy in their eyes. They were magical beasts. Their training speed might not be comparable to a human, but they possessed extremely long lifespans. Within the magical beast world, spending a couple of hundred years to advance from the Ban Xing class to a 2-star Do Xing was already quite fast. Brother Xiao Yang, Yao Ming will remember this favor of yours. Once I finish off this bastard, I will even be willing to share the 9 serene deep-ground python tribe with you in the future. Yao Ming's eyes landed on Xiao Yang before he suddenly bowed to him. His deep voice contained a great amount of gratitude. If Xiao Yang had not rescued him from the spring, provided him with medicinal pills, and blocked these two for such a long time, he would likely have ended up dying with hatred today. How much of your strength have you recovered? Xiao Yang smiled and inquired. 60%. However, it is more than enough to finish off Yao Xiaotian. Yao Ming loudly laughed. In that case, leave the first elder to me. You should properly settle the debt between the both of you. Xiao Yang faintly laughed. Yao Ming nodded. He did not say anything unnecessary as he turned around. His dark and vicious eyes locked onto the pale-looking Yao Xiaotian. He stepped through the air and slowly walked toward Yao Xiaotian. My good brother, today, allow me to return all the bitterness I have felt these hundreds of years to you. Yao Ming appeared in front of Yao Xiaotian within a couple of flashes. A ferocious expression slowly rose onto his face. Xiao Yang's body moved, and he appeared in front of that first elder after Yao Ming acted. He grinned at the first elder, but the first elder felt his entire body turn cold when he noticed that smile. He understood that everything had already been decided. This video will end here.